Hello, guys. I wanted to talk today about the Pygmalion effect. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. And the Pygmalion effect is basically the self-fulfilling prophecy. Now, I know I mentioned something about this in a couple videos back, and the example I remember from a while ago is like the teacher is a coach, right? A basketball coach in a school, and he sees, like, he gets his first students, and in the group there's like this student that's kind of athletic. He kind of stands out from all the other students, and the coach thinks, oh, that's going to be a great athlete, right? And like, I guess with conscious or subconscious or unconscious like gestures and attitudes towards that person, the coach starts to manifest, that type of belief in him. So the player or the student eventually gets really good, and he becomes the best after some time. And then there's another student who's kind of chubby, in the beginning. He's kind of slow. And the teacher or the coach says, or thinks to himself, right, this student is going to suck, right? And again, he projects all of those feelings, attitudes, emotions, gestures towards that person. And like at the end of the semester or the year or whatever, that guy is pretty bad at basketball, right? He's horrible. So this idea basically says that what you think will happen, right? It will manifest into your life. And it's a theory as old as time, right? And it's rooted in a lot of self-help books, self-help conferences, positive thinking seminars, all these types of ideas where, like, just believe in yourself and think and picture yourself, feel yourself living that you want. You want a car, you want a house, you want money, you want riches, you want fame. Picture yourself being there, and you will have it, right? So yeah, basically it means that your expectations, what you think will result in the performance or the results of the events that will happen in your life, right? So if you think that you will make a lot of money, then you end up making a lot of money, right? If you think that you're not good with money, then you will not be good with money, right? So it's kind of like the self-fulfilling prophecy, right? Now, this kind of takes us to this other notion of wishful thinking. And wishful thinking is this idea, like just coming from the Pygmalion effect, which is actually you thinking something will be the way it is, but it actually won't, right? So you're ideal, right? You think this should be like this, so it will be like this in the future, and it doesn't happen, right? So it's kind of like reality smacks you in the face, right? Like you picture yourself, I want $1 million, I want $1 million, I want $1 million, and then you keep waiting, and it never comes, right? So it's like, what the hell? What's going on? What did I do wrong? And this is where people will say, well, you didn't believe hard enough, where I kind of think that it really depends on your core beliefs, your subconscious core beliefs, what you deep down in your gut believe. So even if you tell yourself, I think I'm going to have $1 million, I'm going to have $1 million. If there's like deep rooted beliefs in you, maybe that's why it's not happening, right? That's my opinion. But okay, let's continue with the ideas. Now, they say that wishful thinking actually goes through a couple stages. The first one is the dream stage, which is when you fantasize all these ideal scenarios, right? Like, I'm gonna have riches, I'm gonna have money, I'm gonna have cars, I'm gonna have houses, I'm gonna be successful, I'm gonna be popular, fame, friends, all the good stuff in life, right? I'm gonna have all of that. And then as you go through life and you see that that's not becoming your reality, you get fucking frustrated, and then you end up in the nightmare stage. So the nightmare stage is basically this incoherence between who you are and who you should be. So and that's, they say that, I think Gandhi said something like that, like you're at your best when what you think, what you say, and what you do is the same, it's aligned. And this kind of goes hand in hand, I think, with Carl Rogers' theory of the self, right? Like, you have an ideal self and you have your real self. So your ideal self thinks that you should be this person, and you're working towards it, but you're not seeing results, and you're this other person, and the distance, if it's like a greater distance, it's greater suffering. So the objective is to be the person that, to be that person that you want to be that ideal you, right? Okay, well, anyway, when you enter the nightmare stage, which is the distance between your ideal you, who you should be, and who you actually are, your actual reality, there's something, the third stage, which there's something that happens, which is called the explosion into reality, right? So you finally get like hammered, your reality. You're like, okay, this is my reality. I'm not achieving anything. I'm not getting anywhere, and you get sad, you get depressed, you get anxious, you get angry, you get frustrated. You just end up like giving up, basically, right? You just say fuck it, but that's not good, because you have aspirations, you have goals you need to get to, right? Okay, so that's that idea. So that's basically saying that what you think will happen actually won't happen, right? It's wishful thinking. And it also said something interesting, which is the reverse happens too. So it's like when you get threatened, for example, when you experience potential danger, then you become, pessimistic. You think that bad things are gonna happen, right? And we've all been there. You're involved in a situation, in a problematic situation, and you're like, oh shit, this is gonna go from bad to worse, right? And what actually ends up happening is the opposite, right? Like, you think things are gonna be bad, and they actually don't turn out to be that bad, or sometimes they turn out to be like normal or even good. What the hell, right? So this is kind of like, why is this? Why does this happen? Because I think if you think a certain way, then that should happen. But how come sometimes you'll think something, it's like there's like four possibilities. You'll think something and it will happen. Positive. You think something positive and something opposite will happen, or it won't happen, right? Something negative will happen. And then sometimes when you think bad things, they will happen, or they do end up happening. And sometimes you think bad things and they don't end up happening, right? And I'm a believer that what you think you manifest, but I also got to face reality. And the truth is that it is not always true. What you think doesn't always turn out to be that way, right? So I've been disproven. I have my ideas. There's another one where I was thinking about, the four elements: water, the fire, air, and earth, right? Which are the four elements in the zodiac. And the sun is supposed to be like the head of the fire, like in Leo, of the fire signs. And it turns out that the sun isn't even fire. The sun is like gases, because in space, light, like the sunlight travels through space to hit Earth, and it's radiation or something like that. It's not even fire. So like when you get burned by the sun, or like the sun starts a fire, it's not fire, right? It's gases. So why the hell has the sun been represented as a fire constituent, or a fire element, like a fire thing, when it's not even fire, right? So and then you say, well, there's four elements, right? But then look at the periodic table of elements. There's like a bunch of elements, right? There's a bunch of other things, so it kind of gets complex, right? Like, I was just watching this Jordan Peterson, and this guy was talking. His name's kind of Chris Harris. I don't really remember his name, but he was saying that you have that idea of three dimensions. There's front, back, there's up, down, and there's right, left, right? And everybody's like, yeah, man, that's proven, that's scientific, boom, 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 irrefutable. You can't argue with that. And then all of a sudden, I think this other theoretical person, or this mathematician, said, well, we curve, right? So when you curve, that changes like that whole three-dimension front, back, up, down, side to side, left and right idea, right? So it's like, you think something, but then there's like something more complex, or there are ideas more complex, like the elements. You think you know the four elements. That's all there is: earth, water, fire, earth, fire, water, and air. But then what about the periodic table of elements, right? It's like, the people that are like esoteric, they'll be like, yeah, those are the four elements. And then what about the all the other elements in the periodic table of elements, right? So then this idea of the Pygmalion effect, it's like, what's happening here? How come there's this deep idea, rooted in, yeah, what you think will happen, and then, there's really no evidence, conclusive evidence towards that, right? So yeah, I'm basically like confused. Let me see what it says here. You go from worst, that doesn't happen, or things go great, why is that? What's happening? Disproven. Oh yeah, disproven, like I mentioned, like the sun is not fire. So what do you guys think? Do you think what you think does happen, or the opposite happens, or and sometimes I like, this happens to me. I'll think of something, but I'll try to think the opposite, right? Like, let's say I want a job, right? I'll think to myself, I won't get that job. I won't get that job. So the opposite happens. So I do get it, right? So that's kind of something that I do. But like I said, maybe it's deep rooted in your subconscious beliefs. Like, if you're like, I want that job, so I'm gonna think I won't get that job, so I get that job, but I end up not getting that job because my beliefs, deep rooted, didn't want that job, right? Because it was far away, because I thought, I don't know, like that's where you have to explore your beliefs, right? What do you really think about this? Because I think that's what's probably really affecting. And I think to some extent, the Pygmalion effect and wishful thinking can help you out. Like, for example, they definitely help you out, like it was saying, in motivation, in the process. So like, if you, I don't know, if you think maybe you're an athlete, right? And you think that in the future you can become like the world's greatest athlete, right? And you work hard and you work hard and you work hard. And at the end of the day, you don't become the greatest athlete in the world, but you become a pretty damn good, optimal performer. Then that idea helped you to become that good performer, right? So it's like, you won't become the best in the world, but you'll become good, right? And maybe without that idea, you weren't able to practice as hard as you did, right? So it's like this idea of shoot for the stars and land on a hill, right, or something like that. So you're not gonna get there, but you will get far, right? So maybe it's more of an instrumental type of idea that will help you, more than having it like really become a full-blown reality, right? And the important thing, again, is not to get frustrated, right? Like, you have to think that it may not happen, it may not become real, and live okay with that, right? Also, so have like a plan B. Well, that's all I got for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Hit like, subscribe, all that shit, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.